I have been a travel writer for the past decade and travel everywhere, all around the world, from Antarctica to India. Because really, what it's all about is putting as much money as possible back into that local community, but like directly into that community. Yeah. And there is a term in tourism which is it's called leakage, and it's about all the money that actually gets leaked out of your hand once it's going into the destination. It's actually leaking out into multinational corporations, not into the hands of the local guide or the local hotel. So how do we plug up that leakage? How do we make sure that, the United Nations World Travel Organization has said that 5% of the money we spend as travelers stays in these destinations? That's criminal. Or we can ask the questions: who runs these companies? Can I get a local guide? Where are the locally owned cafes? Find that out for ourselves, or go with organizations who are doing that work for you. And there are plenty of them out there. So that is exciting. And that's when we take the power back. Yeah. And that's when we can really start to feel good about using our extreme privilege, that we even have the privilege to travel. And FYI, 6% of the world's population have only ever stepped on an aeroplane, which just blew my mind when I learned that. 6% of the world's population. Like, just let that sit for a minute and realize how impactful we could be with those dollars every single time we go anywhere.
That's amazing.
And also, actually, the most important thing, I think, is also investing in tourism in our own countries as well, which is something was the worst. I was like, no, I don't want to do that trip to Uluru. I want to take the assignment in Western Mongolia. I want to go to Papua New Guinea. I want to go here and there. And, of course we all have that urge, and of course we're all still going to do that. But maybe that can be, once every 2 years. And then the rest of the time we can be exploring this incredible place we call home, and finding a sense of adventure also in the everyday, so that our daily lives are actually juicy and gorgeous, and we don't need to escape them so much.
I think, op shopping is something that I've always done. I buy a lot of secondhand brands and secondhand designer brands. And then sort of steering away from fast fashion, because you can see the impact that has on the environment, and also the human impact. I mean, if you're buying something for $4 a t-shirt, it's not a comfortable conversation to have, but there's slavery involved in it. So I think all of my ethics led me to Outland, and I feel like I'm in the right place now. They've got a brilliant, unique business model where they own their own factory in Cambodia, and 85% of the people that work there have been in a vulnerable situation. And by that I mean they've been sex trafficked. What Outland does that's unique to any other company in the world is that they take them and they reskill them. So they educate them in how to use and sew the garment, and then also they offer financial services for them. There's a healthcare system there that's within the facility as well. And basically, just by bringing people up through and out of poverty, it's changing the world one garment by garment.
Have that awakening. I was volunteering 11 years ago for a nonprofit in California, and the scientist there was studying microorganisms ingesting microplastics, and I had to ask her to please explain that to me, and she said, well, plastic does not break down into the environment like a banana peel or in your worm compost. It breaks up into tiny millions of little pieces that are actually irretrievable from our environment. And microorganisms are now ingesting them and moving up the food chain and biomagnifying their toxicity of whatever they're ingesting, these synthetics, onto our dinner plate or into our water, wherever the way that it's coming into our bodies, and it's wreaking havoc in our systems as well, particularly our endocrine and reproductive systems. So I was like, I just felt, oh my goodness, we use so much plastic every single day, single-use plastic, and then we just throw it away and it lasts on the planet for 1,000 years. That is not okay. So I felt, of all the things impacting our world, our planet, the overwhelming amount of stuff impacting our planet, that is just, it's really hard to know how we can have impact sometimes. I thought, well, at least I personally can stop using single-use plastics. I do not need plastic water bottles. I do not need plastic bags. I do not need cutlery and to-go-ware and all this stuff. And I was like,
because I think it's really important that sometimes when we talk about sustainability, and I think like the panel really beautifully demonstrates that sustainability is a multifaceted issue, and it's not just about like what clothes you put on your body or what container you eat out of. It is also the communities that you impact, and healthy communities here in Australia flourish when we have conscious decisions, I think, and when we have conversations like this.